Pistols are the make or break of every competitive match, and I'm here to tell you why. In order to master something, you must dedicate your time to the topic. No one masters something overnight. It is believed that in order to master something, you must put in at least 1,000 or 10,000 hours into perfecting the craft. This is the same with CSGO, so don't worry if you aren't a pro in 2 days. I was a much worse player before I looked more closely at the basic fundamentals of the game, such as pistol usage. Before we move on to a more in-depth description and how-to of each pistol, we will look at each pistol's specific stats. The Desert Eagle has a base damage of 63, an armor penetration of 93.2%, damage fall-off at 500 units, 19%, an accurate range stand at 24.58 meters, and an inaccuracy from firing, 72.23. The R8 revolver has a base damage of 86, an armor penetration of 93.2, damage fall-off at 500 units, 6%, accurate range stand at 60.48 meters, and is inaccurate from firing, 50. The dual Berettas have a base damage of 38, an armor penetration of 57.5%, damage fall-off at 500 units at 21%, accurate range stand at 16.93 meters, and inaccuracy from firing 11.16. The 5.7 has a base damage of 32%, an armor penetration of 91.15%, damage fall-off at 500 units 19%, accurate range stand 13.73 meters, and inaccuracy from firing 25. The Glock 18 has a base damage of 30, an armor penetration of 47%, damage fall-off at 500 units 15%, accurate range stand 20.05 meters, and inaccuracy from firing 56. The P2000 has damage of 35, armor penetration of 50.5%, damage fall-off at 500 units 9%, accurate range stand 22.09 meters, and inaccuracy from firing 50. The USP has a base damage of 35, armor penetration of 50.5%, damage fall off at 500 units 9%, accurate range stand 20.59 meters, and inaccuracy from firing 71. The P250 has a base damage of 38, armor penetration 64%, damage fall off at 500 units 10%, accurate range stand at 13.73 meters, and inaccuracy from firing 52.45. The CZ75 Auto has a base damage of 31, an armor penetration of 77.65%, damage fall off at 500 units 15%, accurate range stand 11.35 meters, and inaccuracy from firing 35. The Tech 9 has a base damage of 33, armor penetration of 90.6%, damage fall off at 500 units 21%, accurate range stand 22.09 meters, and inaccuracy from firing 95. The Deagle's first shot is pretty decent. Second shot spam is still good close range. After that, don't spam unless the opponent is super close. The recovery time when standing is about 0.8 of a second and about 0.4 when crouched. A good way to help you get used to this is by enabling a dynamic crosshair. This makes your crosshair expand when your weapon's recoil is still active. This will help you time your second and third shots so that they can be as accurate as possible when fighting an enemy. The dual Beretta, a modest upgrade of basic pistols, is not as accurate as those basic pistols. The dual Berettas have a combined magazine size of 30 bullets and a high rate of fire, plus slightly better armor penetration. This pistol is rarely seen in competitive play due to the fact there are much better choices for pistols at lower prices. The 5.7 is a CT pistol and can be used similarly to the P250 because its accuracy is the same and armor penetration is even higher, above 90%. Additionally, it has very little recoil and at close range has one-tap headshot potential. Overall, it's a very strong universal weapon. I personally run with it and try to close the gap between myself and my opponents. This is the most effective way that I have found to use this pistol. There are many different strategies when using the Glock 18. It has a very low armor penetration stat, so it is best to aim for the opponent's head. However, it does have quite the ammo advantage to the counter-terrorist pistol. Normally what I do is just basically run at them and try to stay away from the USP and P2000 shots as much as possible. What I mean by that is I try to minimize them tracking my head altogether. So as I'm running at them, I'm crouching, moving from side to side, maybe even jumping. Since the Glock really has a decent amount of ammo compared to the CTs, I normally just dodge shots and take little shots here and there while they are wasting ammo and then kill them while they have to reload. The P2000 is very similar to the USP, and that is a starter counter-terrorist pistol. It is a one-shot headshot to opponents without head armor. Many people prefer the USP to its unsilenced counterpart, but the two are very similar, other than their magazine size. The P2000 holds much more bullets than the USP. It doesn't really matter which pistol you choose, as they are very similar to each other, and it comes down to personal preference. For the USP, aim for the head is the obvious answer, but the two tips I have are these. On CT side, distance yourself. The Glock has terrible distance drop-off, where the P2K/UAP do not. The Glock is not a one-shot headshot, or on no helmet if it is too far away. Try not to engage in close-range battles if you can. Tap and calm yourself. Reset your recoil and keep aiming for the head. Easier said than done, but eventually you will get the hang of the cooldown timings. Look for pistol-only deathmatch servers. A lot of people do not take advantage of them. It's good to deathmatch with AK/headshot-only servers. Learn to spray, etc. But people often forget that there are two very, very important pistol rounds in every game. Now, on to the next pistol. Then there's the P250, which is available for both sides. It is different from basic pistols in several respects. It has higher armor penetration, 65%, is less accurate, and has much bigger recoil. These features make it more suitable for targeting the body. When shooting heads, P250 needs 2 hits as well. I personally try to run around and make it harder for myself to be tracked by opponents. The only time I will realistically buy a P250 is starting terrorist on pistol round due to the poor damage of the Glock, the starter terrorist pistol. The CZ75 is the only automatic pistol. It is available for both sides, but will replace either the Tech 9 or the 5.7. It is the least accurate pistol, with a weird recoil pattern and rather high armor penetration, 77%. Ironically, it has a small magazine and very little ammo in reserve. Pros typically use a CZ and Eco rounds to surprise an enemy at close range and take his weapon. The Tech 9 is a strange terrorist gun. It can kill in one shot to the head from up close, like the 5.7. The first shot is also very accurate. However, the next shots go all over the place. Combined with high armor penetration, 91%, it would suggest spamming the body at close distance while running around. Closing the distance gap on your opponents, it is very important with this pistol. So it is best paired with proper grenade usage, which will be covered later in my series. All pistols are situational weapons. Obviously, they are not what is going to be used for the majority of the game. However, many people underestimate their importance. There are 2 pistol rounds in every competitive game. These 2 rounds can have a lasting effect for up to 6 rounds. This happens because winning a round in Counter-Strike gives more money than a loss. So by winning both pistol rounds per game, the team who has won will have an inherent advantage, economically. But pistols are not just useful during pistol rounds. They can change the tide of a game just as easily. We will get into this in our next episode, where I cover the art of eco rounds, anti-eco rounds, and save rounds. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and practice your headshots in a deathmatch server. Right now, I'm going to show you how to join a deathmatch server. First, go to play CSGO, then go to official matchmaking, Then select Community Server Browser, type in keyword deathmatch, and choose which one to join.